Will cryptos crash here into a bear market, or will altcoins actually finally have its altcoin season? Check this out. Basically, if we're only looking at Bitcoin, it looks like we could have a very bad bear flag and breakdown. But if we're looking at altcoins, right, there's somewhat of a chance it can actually do well. What do I mean by that? Well, look at this. This is, for example, the IWM. That's the Russell 2000 ETF. It's the only thing that's staying green out of all the stock indexes today. And for old followers of mine or people who have been watching my videos and for folks in my Discord, you understand that the Russell 2000 I've spoken about a lot is basically the closest proxy we have for altcoins. Look at this. It's just made a new all-time high yesterday on Fed's rate cut, and it's taken off. So we're making like multiple new all-time highs now. Let me put on the weekly chart. Look at this. Look at this. Does this remind you of the Ethereum chart? Right, except this dump here. Ethereum's still down here. But yeah, let me just overlay the altcoin chart over this, and you will see how closely they resemble each other. Okay, and here we see it. That's total 2. The chart in blue is all the altcoins, total 2. And look at this. It's basically, they basically follow each other. And that, of course, makes total sense, except we have a divergence here. We have a divergence here. So which way is going to go? Is the Russell 2000 going to follow altcoins down, or is our altcoins going to follow the Russell 2000 up? So this makes perfect sense because, okay, we know the NASDAQ, we know the SP 500. Those are large cap stocks, the largest 500 stocks in the US, or the NASDAQ 100 are the largest 100 tech stocks in the US, right? But the Russell 2000 are the small 2000 stocks inside the United States, the small 2000 stocks. Does that sound like altcoins to you? Does that sound like not the Bitcoin, not Ethereum, not the top 10, right? But we're talking about the next 2000, right? Mid cap altcoins or even small cap altcoins. Both stocks and crypto are risk on. So that's why and that's why they match each other, right? It's just not just a theory, but look at the Russell 2000, which is this red and green normal chart, and the blue one, which is all of the altcoins, right? They basically match each other, except in the last 3 or 4 weeks, we've had this big discrepancy, right? I would call it a bullish divergence here. Okay, now what about the mid cap and the small cap altcoins, right? So here, I've added another chart line, which is the black line, as we can see. The black line is basically others, which is all altcoins except the top 10. So you're basically looking at the mid-cap altcoins except Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Binance, Cardano, those ones. And look, it still tracks the Russell 2000 really, really closely, right? Really, really closely. Except here, we have an even wider divergence. What is going on? Which way are we going to believe? Are we going to believe crypto altcoins are going down and that's going to drag the Russell 2000 down because Russell 2000 is wrong? Or do we think Russell 2000 is headed up and altcoins are headed up as well as it turns up? So basically, we can even see here, just this week, we can see the blue one is including the top 10 altcoins. So that's like Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, XRP, those ones. It's actually started to turn up. The smaller mid-cap altcoins have not turned up yet. So that's why this is one of the reasons why I think altcoins are about to turn up. And as you all know, back on 21st of November, around here, I made my video saying that, okay, I think altcoins have bottomed. So basically, today we're going to analyze where Bitcoin and the stock market and altcoins are eventually headed. And also, at the end of the video, I'll spend a couple of minutes with my update on silver. Wow, boy, has it been taken off. It's just, look at that. This is actually a 45-year chart. 45-year chart of silver. since 1980. Can we see here? 1980, right? 1980 cup and handle. Okay, so let's get straight into it. The thing with Bitcoin right now is that, as have been saying, as long as we don't break this this trend line, which is at 96.5 right now, and you can see this trend line is basically the one that has supported Bitcoin for all this time, then we run the risk. We're still not in a good position. We will run the risk of a bear flag, which is flagpole, bear flag, and breakdown. And people say that, okay, the target is 74K. We always overshoot and we go to like 70, 71, or maybe we even stop here around like 67, high 60s, low 70s. I say that's possible, but I always give it a probability, but I say the higher probability is we break down this bull flag, a bear flag, we bounce here off a double bottom, like 78, 79K, just a little bit lower than 80K. We bottom and we head up. If that happens, then Ethereum and altcoins would really have an altcoin season. What more evidence are there? Before we answer that, let's first answer the question of which crypto exchanges does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo uses exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show any ID. So that means even the exchange can't see who you are. So that means the exchange can't see you, the IRS can't see you, the tax office can't see you, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you, total privacy. That's why Pablo made this exclusive campaign with them, right? So basically for folks who are depositing, basically deposit $100, do some trading, get $20, right? Deposit $500, do some trading, get $80, right? Deposit $1,000, get $100 after some trading, like all sorts of wonderful deals. Limited time only, folks, limited time only. This deal finishes on 23rd of December, which is basically one day before Christmas Eve. And basically, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, it's limited time only, then on YouTube, the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. But if you're watching on another platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page and there is my link tree or Stan link, and we'll click on that. This should be the first deal that pops up because this is a wonderful, great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. But just remember, this deal is only available on the Pablo Jimenez link. Only on the Pablo Jimenez link. Okay, so the markets right now. What's another way of looking at this? Why do we think Ethereum is going to lead of the altcoins and outperform the rest of the market? Before we get to this very important chart on Ethereum price action, first, let's have a look at what the Fed rate cut just means. The Fed cut 25 basis points. And sometimes I do warn folks, when the Fed is cutting rates a lot, when the Fed is cutting rates quickly, it means that recession is coming and we're actually going to crash. But what happens when the Fed cuts interest rates when the SP 500 is near its all-time highs? Like this is the SP 500, the SP 500. I'll just put that chart on here, and we can see it is actually near. Well, it's made a new all-time high. Yeah, we're heading into like a Friday, and it's basically closed that new all-time high 2 weeks ago. Then last week also new all-time high, and we're about to close at a new all-time high again, and daily probably trade at a new all-time high as well. So when we're this close to the new all-time high, and you also then have a rate cut within 2% of a new all-time high, then what does that mean for the market? Well, what it means is that there are two ways you can cut interest rates. One way you cut interest rates, like I said, is when the recession is coming, stocks are tanking, economy looks bad, and you cut interest rates in a hurry, in a panic, which means you confirm that that recession is here and you've acted too late, and so the Federal Reserve is too late and the market crashes. The other way is you do preventative rate cuts, which means you cut when the economy's still looking kind of good, but there are dark clouds on the horizon, which is where we are right now. Unemployment is still low, but we are seeing that that the labor market is going soft, so you cut preventatively before the proverbial hits the fan. So when you do these sort of cuts, when the stock market is still high, within 2% of its highs, then basically what happens, say after 12 month, we the market hits a new all-time high. It's always green. 12 months later. Well, there's been, in the last 22 cases they've tested this theory, it has been green. 6 months later from now, so that would take us to June next year, June 2026. This is like 16 out of 22 cases. In 16 out of 22 times, it's green. And yeah, in the other cases, like the 1.4 and down 2.4, it's still mostly pretty good, still the same level. They've had two big bear markets. This is minus 14%, minus 20%, and a minor bear market here. So, but the probabilities are in your favor, right? Especially if it's a year from now. So therefore, I do think this bull market still has a chance to run another 6 to 12 months, mainly, as I have been saying, because Trump is appointing a new degen for the Federal Reserve. And, so basically, Kevin has said, if you watch my videos or if you're in my Discord, you know who I'm talking about. That's the new Federal Reserve Chairman to replace Jerome Powell. That guy is going to cut interest rates and start doing QE. So, now, let's have a look at where Ethereum is. I believe Ethereum is in a better position than Bitcoin right now, because you know how we say that there's a bear flag on Bitcoin. We cannot say the same thing about Ethereum right now, because look at this. If I was to try to draw a bear flag here, and that's why I haven't drawn a bear flag on this chart. Like, we've had this high, this high, this high. If we try to connect these three highs like this, if we connect these three highs, okay, then there's no way I can connect the bottom here. Unless you want to, like that one and that one just does not connect. Unless you want to say, okay, we take this bottom, not this one, not this red bar, but this bottom and this bottom, then it kind of makes sense. But what about this one? What about this one? So it's not exactly a classic bear market, bear flag to me. The other thing I like about this chart, but it could still turn out to be a bear flag. I think it's a small probability, and we get one more big dump. It could happen. I'm just saying, in my opinion, that's small probability. Okay, so the folks, I've named these levels, and folks can see that it's been working out. I said first 3,100, which was here because of this trend line here, right? We dumped, and then we came up here. This was the 3,200 level, and then the 3,300 level. Yes, we popped above, but look, yesterday's action. This was 2 days ago, a topping tail, and that's why we're having this pullback right now. So let me just delete that right now. I don't think it is a bear flag, but Bitcoin is in a bear flag. So if Bitcoin breaks down here and goes to, in my scenario, to around 80K, 79, 78K, around here, right? Retest this area, double bottom and bounce, but a lower bottom. If that happens, then yeah, Ethereum probably retest this 2750 again. What I like about this chart is that, one, we've broken through this major downward trend line. See how this trend line is basically what held Ethereum down for this entire move here. For this entire move since October 11th crash, since the Binance CZ crash from 2 months ago. We've broken above, yeah, top and tail, but this is on a daily chart. That's okay. We're about to retest, and if we bounce off here and go higher, then there's a chance, I would say, Ethereum then I would say Ethereum has bottomed. Now, let me see if we can move this line just a little bit. So it doesn't matter how you draw this line, right? We haven't fully convincingly broken out yet. We're now still doing a retest. I would say then probably holding 3,300 is fairly important going forward for us to break out of this downward wedge, which is also very positive, or this downward trend line, and hold above 3,300, and then up we go. The next leg starts. Now, here's the thing. What happens now? The Federal Reserve just said. The Federal Reserve just said that they ended they cut rates by 25 points. Then they ended quantitative tightening on December the 1st, and now they've started buying treasury bills again, $40 billion, like Pablo has predicted in my video from 3 days ago. But a lot of people say you don't call that QE. That's not exactly QE, quantitative easing. Whatever you want to call it, it's actually increasing the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, which means they're pumping more liquidity into the markets. Last time, have a look at this. What I like about this chart is that we are now seeing, this is Ethereum divided by Bitcoin. Ethereum versus Bitcoin, by the way. Now we've seen, remember how I was calling for Ethereum to bottom around here, right? In April, made a number of videos. And if you're in my Discord, you remember this as well. Pops up, bull flag, pops up. We could still call this a bull flag, right? It's just that it's gone down further. And see how here we have this supporting trend line of the previous bull flag. And it's here, yeah. And we're kind of bouncing off this level and broke out. We broke out from this bull flag. So I do expect, and it respected this level, 0.037, respected this resistance level perfectly. We pull back. Maybe we bounce off here, this 0.033, and up we go. So this is Bitcoin, this is Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So overall, I expect Ethereum to outperform. Yeah, that's the monthly chart. That's the monthly chart. Basically, that's where we are right now. Let me put it on the weekly so we have a better view of this cycle. Here is the weekly chart, and as we can see, let me just close these ones down so we can see it on the weekly chart. Here, this was Ethereum versus Bitcoin during the 2017 bull run. Here's Ethereum versus Bitcoin during the 2021 bull run. And now we've hit rock bottom, we bounced, we pulled back again, but ETH breaks out of this big bull flag, and I think we take out this big red trend line, and then altcoin season will be confirmed. And by then, as I always say, it'll be a bit too late. All your favorite coins are up 3x already, 5x if not. So like on November 21st, I said, hey, look, I think altcoin season is kind of starting right now. So yeah, this is the trend line since 2022 that has held ETH down all this time. I think we're about to break it. That's basically my view. Okay, quick update on silver. Hi-yo, silver, Anderson silver. So what does the silver chart tell us now? Okay, I've drawn silver here on a log chart because it's starting to behave like Bitcoin and some of the altcoins. So that's why I'm using the log chart. If we draw this massive channel, because since 2001, this is the last 24 years. So we can see this is basically multiple bottoms here. This is the COVID bottom here. If we connect those and then go through the top here, then we get this target here. That eventually tells us by, say, another 5 years, by 2030, people like to use the word the 2030 because that gets us to when US dollar probably collapsed and there's a new superpower in the world, gets us to $151 around here. I personally think we get there a lot sooner than 2030, but I could be wrong. Now, that's connect the recent 2 and 3 bottoms here, and then connect this top here, that gives us a target around $70 here. I think that's reasonable. I think for a target in the next, this is the monthly chart, by January or so, January or Feb, $70, $80, I think that's a reasonable target. Okay, thank you for your time, folks. I'll catch you next episode.